to go home with. And there were 10 superpowers that we discussed. And we called them kind of magical powers almost. And a lot of them sitting there didn't really understand what I was talking about. Because they were just getting in here, they really hadn't figured out what we were doing here yet, but I guarantee you right now they can tell you what those powers are and how much they've learned about how to harness those powers when you get home here tonight. So the first power that we talked about is the power to lead others. And we went through a number of programs that really helped everybody understand the importance of not only leading and being front, but taking a step back and listening. And we did a lot of that through the adventure course and through some of the other activities that we did, that we can't always be the person in front with the loudest voice. Sometimes we got to step back and listen to others and then collectively come up with the best decision possible. The next one we did was the power to set goals. And not only how to set goals, but how to overcome the obstacles that block you from achieving ultimately what you want in life. We talked about the power to understand personal leadership styles and how there are a lot of people out there that want them to conform to a certain way. You know, Nike wants them to buy the next pair of Jordans or buy the next iPod. There are different influences in life that ultimately force you to make certain decisions. But by understanding how you can use your own personal leadership style to be your own person, individual, and how to take little ideas and turn them into life-changing, world-changing ideas. No matter how small they start off, they can become huge things, as long as you know your own personal leadership style and how to work with other types of styles. We talked about we learned the power of teamwork and how important it is to understand the strengths and weaknesses of every person on your team and make sure that we know how to make sure that everyone is working together into one unit. Especially in board breaking, we talked a lot about if your arms and your hips and your legs, they don't work together as one solid team, you can never accomplish that goal. Everything has to work together. And I guarantee you right now, how many people felt really good about board breaking, working together as a team on that one? We talked about the power of compassion. And we talked about how Rotary International does so much for the world, not just for communities. There are Rotary clubs that obviously have community projects, but ultimately all those community projects put together help us change the world. And they help us change the world in positive ways, whether it's ending polio or doing a water project in an area where they can't get water. We learned about how to solve world issues. And we also, if you remember the exercise we did where we broke them up, each one of our participants, 188, represented 40 million people. And out of those 188 people, 31 of them, again, each one representing 40 million people, currently don't have access to clean drinking water in the world. And we learned that by making small contributions and turning small ideas into life-changing ideas, we can help impact the future. A small idea, such as a drinking straw, where you can go up and drink out of the stream and be free of any bacteria, that started as a small idea, but it's changing lives. And the Rotary is in the forefront of that. We talked about the power of trust and trusting each other and trusting a team, the importance of team. We had every single team leader come up and give their definition of what trust was to them and how important it is to work or have trust in a team. And if you don't have trust, then you don't have a team. Now we took 18 or 19 individuals on a team who had met each other just 4 days ago. And at the end of this program, that power is really strong, because how many of you guys trust your team right now? We talked about the power of humor, how laughter is the best medicine. And I'm sure everybody here had a great time, but humor is very important, especially in leadership, because we have to enjoy ourselves. It's important for us to enjoy ourselves and be healthy and be happy, because if we're not happy, it reflects in the work that we do. It reflects in what we can do and how we affect change in the future. A smile is very contagious, but so is a frown. So humor is extremely important. We talked about the power of vision. Especially with goal setting, we need to be able to visualize where we're going in this world. We need to know what our goal looks like and how we're going to get there and what obstacles stop us from getting there and how we can overcome those. Those are all things that we need to visualize. We can't just say we're going to do something. We have to see ourselves do it already. We talked about the power of gratitude. And earlier today, we gave everyone an opportunity to come up and thank someone else that impacted their lives or made an impact or showed them something different or made them feel good about themselves. Gratitude can go a long way. A thank you can go a long way. As a manager, sometimes you forget to say thank you. And sometimes we're quick to discipline people when they do something wrong, but when somebody does something right, sometimes we forget about it. And in leadership, we've got to do more of those thank yous than we do holding somebody accountable when they do something wrong. And if you want to be a great leader, you have to know how to balance both of those. And I hope you guys learned about that today. And the last one, which is the most important of all, is the power of love. Loving yourself, loving other people. If you cannot love yourself and love others, you cannot be a strong leader. And everyone in here showed love over these last 4 days. Everyone showed love to other people, and everyone received love. And if you don't have that in leadership, we're going to fail. We have to love what we do, we have to love each other, and we have to love ourselves. So that's it. Those are the 10 superpowers that we talked about. Those are the things that we taught you over these past 4 days that I hope you're able to bring home. Now, I did mention on day one, a lot of you guys aren't going to know what I was talking about, or that feeling, or how we're going to harness those superpowers. A lot of you guys, obviously the Magical RYLA, it sounds like a silly name, but how many people in here feel like they obtained those 10 superpowers? Exactly. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you remember those superpowers, and you believe in yourselves, and you believe in your goals, you can accomplish anything in this world. Thank you guys very much. And now I have the distinct honor, as typically do, of introducing our last speaker here tonight. Somebody who, and for a lot of the parents that are here, I've been working with this program since I was sitting in the seat as a leader when I was selected back in 1998. So I've helped out with this program. I've also helped start multiple RYLAs in other states, and I've sat on the board of directors for the RYLA Education and Development Conference, which helps improve RYLAs all over the world. We had a special guest come in from another RYLA who wanted to see how we do ours this week. His name was Vu. And he spent, unfortunately, Vu was already left for the airport, unfortunately. But he left me these words, and they're going to stick with me. I've been to a number of RYLAs, but by far, this is the best one I've ever seen. Now, there's a reason for that. 23 years ago, a man with a vision said, we need to start this program. He came in, and at first we had Rotarians, we had teachers, kind of teaching seminars, and he said, we could do this better. So he started working to create the program that you guys went through over the past 4 days. And every year at the end of the program, or at least since I've been here, at the end of the last day of the program, he says, how can we do this better? What can we do better? And so the next day after RYLA, that's when we get to work on improving the next year's RYLA. So for the past 19 years that I've been a part of this program, and the 23 years of his every year he finishes with how can we do this better? And our goal every year is to make this program the best RYLA ever. So tomorrow we'll be meeting and trying to figure out how to make the next program better. We'll have a couple other trainings and stuff that Dave's going to talk to you about here in a little bit, but without this man, this program would not be possible. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our program director, Mr. David Goldwell.